Okay, so this will be a bit of a different video. This is a requested one from a guy at work that he wanted me to make a video on my channel about soul ties. And I was talking to him about how having multiple partners affects you, and he wanted to make a video on it. So this is for you, Tyler. I'm making the video for you. So in a relationship, some people, even nowadays, the world encourages you to go out and sleep around. They say, oh, it's liberating and it's perfectly fine for you. Notice how I said liberating, as in, because that's what they say it. And this is mainly for women, and they're fed the lie. They're fed the lie of, hey, if you sleep with a lot of guys, you're just living and you're just, doing what you want. It's okay. They don't realize the long-term effects. And people that sleep around a lot with people don't realize the effects it also has in the spiritual world. Okay? Now, relations, which is what I'm going to call it, because YouTube's very finicky about stuff. So when a man and woman have relations, there is, as you know, a huge release. Not only is it hormones and endorphins, is also energy in the guy's part, but it's also in the spiritual world. Okay? Just as when a guy releases in, the corn, you are feeding that succubus, you're releasing energy into the spirit world. And there's a reason why when you release as a man, you feel exhausted after and everything, is because not only are you giving out your energy and strength, but when you do that, what guys don't realize is that is the best of you. That is everything you have, because when your body does that, it's like, oh, we're actually having a kid, so it wants to give basically your offspring the best. And that's why it basically drains you so much. That's why you're drained as a guy. Because it's the best part of you. It's probably because it thinks you're with, your partner. And in the spirit world, this huge release of energy is what demons and other things feed on. They're attracted to it. And into, the corn is demonic instrument designed to drain and keep you weak, suppressed. So you don't seek a partner. So you're just numbed and just like staying at home and not doing anything and watching, videos and releasing. That's all you do. And that's just the whole part. Like I said, I have other videos on that, but this is about soul ties. So in the spiritual world, there's this huge release. And as you continue going and you keep releasing, you're feeding them, but also with partners, you are bonding yourself to them. You're creating soul ties. And soul ties are what they're called in the spirit world when you sit with a partner. There is a reason why in the Bible, God made marriage, and that's where you're supposed to have relations, because it's very important. People don't realize the impact it has. When you basically release with somebody, okay? Say you sleep with, this goes for guys and girls both, okay? This isn't just, me going hard on women here. This is for guys too, okay? There's a lot of guys out there that just sleep around and, destroy themselves that way, okay? This isn't just me going at girls, okay? This is for guys. The more partners you have, the harder it is for you to form meaningful connections, to connect with, say, your partner, okay? If you have multiple guys as a woman, your value goes down, and it's not like there, so you have to be careful when you say value. I spelled that wrong, but the more you attach yourself to all these random men, you have all these attachments to them. All this past, these soul ties you make with multiple people. And it impacts you because, oh, this person hurts you or dumps you, breaks your heart. And then you end up going to the next one and the next one and the next one, just trying to numb to find what you had and you lost and you lose it. Because a lot of people that get involved in this are not complete. And how do you become complete? Well, there's only one way, my friends. That is repenting, believing in Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, and allowing Him to fix you, to heal you, to give you a purpose. That is the only way, is Jesus Christ. There's no other way to fix yourself. You can go relationship to relationship. You can pursue money. You can do everything in the world. And you'll never be happy or satisfied. Because Jesus is the only way you are. And as I said, circling back now to the body counts. Every time you sleep with somebody, you release endorphins. Which is, biologically speaking, that allows you to bond to your partner. It's a happy drug. That's why when guys sleep around, they get the dopamine. Because they're happy. They're like, hey, I just got a girl. You know, it's like, yeah. And that allows them to bond with that partner. And through it, you become attached. That's why the longer a relationship goes, the more damaging it is when it ends. Because if you're just sleeping around with somebody all the time, and you're not courting them for marriage, and you're just using them, and that also puts into your mind, what corn does is, basically women are used, so that's where they eventually get their value from, most women. They're used by guys, and they're like, oh, well, this is all I'm good for, and that destroys them and their value. And it takes a lot of healing, and a lot of repenting of soul ties, and it takes a lot. You have to have a genuine repenting heart, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to, help with that. And quite essentially, what happens to women is when they get used a lot, that's where they attach the value to. But men also attach their value to, you guessed it, corn. The more corn they watch, the more corn they consume, it becomes attached to have the value to. They're like, oh, I'm never going to be anything. I'm not going to amount to anything. I'm never going to have this relationship. So why bother? I'm just going to, beat my meat and play games. And that's what a lot of guys do. Now, playing video games isn't bad. I've said that in other videos. It's not bad. But if you mix it with not working out, not being active, releasing all the time, not following God, and you're just really no purpose or guidance in your life, you have no drive. And that's what attracts women. You see, people are wondering, how do all these other guys, the regular guys will look at these other and be like, how do they get so many women? How are they attracting all these girls? And that's because, one, most of them are, D-bags. They do the red pill. And the tactics work. I can tell you that. The tactics of red pill, if you follow them, they do work. You will hook up with low-frequency women that have issues. I'm sorry to say that, but that is all you will get. Or ones that have been run through. Now, why does having a low body count matter? Well, it doesn't discredit them. As I said, past sins, when you're born again, your past is gone. And you're a new creation, it says. And so you can let go of these with God, which is repenting and digging up your past, taking it to God and saying, help me with this. And even if you have to, go get therapy. Okay, this is for girls, and for guys. If it helps you, get therapy. Okay, I've never gone to therapy because it wouldn't help me. I know that because the doctor would probably be a basket case by the end of it. Okay, like God's helped me a lot, and huge has been God and my faith, which is ultimately, I believe, how you fix. Because if I went to a doctor, they'd have me on antidepressants, or they'd be saying, oh, you can go ahead and beat your meat, once every day and you're fine. Oh yeah, you are, because you're docile. It keeps you weak. You're basically content to have no drive, no ambition, and you like staying at home. And with the way things are, you stay at home, you stream, like shows on Netflix, play video games, and you have no drive. And also with lower body counts, it's not so much a value, but people look at you as like, that's great. So, how to fix it if you've had a troubled past, okay? So this is how to fix it. If you've had a troubled past, one is if you are seriously following God, you want a serious relationship that you could potentially get married in, and you want one, is, this goes for guys and girls. I'm sorry to say this, but you got to go celibate. Okay? You have to literally cut it off. Okay? That means hooking up. For women, that means your free meal tickets or whatever, you know, it's done. You're cutting it off. You're not dating guys. You're repenting, reading your Bible as guys do. And that's same with guys. No corn. Okay? No releasing and beating your meat. Okay? And be very careful about what you watch too. Because if you see something in a video game, which is why gaming's kind of ish, now same with watching shows, be careful what you consume. It will directly affect you. So, basically, being celibate, growing closer to God, preparing yourself. And you may ask, how do I prepare myself? Well, that's healing past traumas. Also, when you get into a relationship and you are, you know, maybe a month or two in, this is subjective to the people, relationships, who you're dating, their maturity level. There's a bunch of stuff into it and how much you feel comfortable with. But if you're really serious about this person, you have to share your past. Okay? Now I know that's a scary thought for a lot of people, but as a guy, you have to share your past. Some of it, like say, hey, if you know you're going through it and you're overcoming it, but say, look, I addicted to corn in the past. I'm not, you know, a partaker of it now, and you know, I don't do that, but I want you to know that I had this addiction. Okay? That's part of sharing, and I've shared it numerous times on the internet, so it's no secret to me. Like, I've shared it. I don't have any shame in it because God freed me from it, and I'm completely, you know, God's made me healed with it. Like, I've perfectly accepted it. It's like it was the old me, and it's not who I am now. I'm a Christian God, and do I struggle with lust? Yes. I'm a guy. What guy doesn't? But I'm not letting it control or define who I am. I'm a child of God. That's what you have to see yourself. And as for women, although it is kind of sad, but if you had this previous lifestyle, if you had, say, OnlyFans, or were in the industries, you have to be honest with your partner. If you've hooked up with a lot of guys, you have to be honest. That's part of it. You're honest with God, and if they are going to be your spouse, then you should be completely honest with them. I don't mean making up some fake number, like, oh, I only had 2 or 3, but if you've had 50, say you've had 50, okay? Don't just lead people along. But if you say that you've been celibate for 2 to 3 years, you haven't hooked up with anybody, you repented, that was the past, and who you are is dead, and you're new, but you literally have not hooked up with anybody, then if a woman, say, has, you know, 15, 20 or higher, it's ultimately subjective to the relationship and the guy. But if you're okay with that, but she's been honest with you, okay, you fully know that she's been single, celibate for, you know, an extended amount of time, 2 to 3 years is just an example. You have to be willing to accept that and realize that it's her past. You're a new creation. God doesn't hold our past against us. You can't hold that against her. Just like in a relationship, if a guy tells you, hey, I've had a 20+ year addiction to corn, guess what? You can't hold that against him. And that's why, think about it, as a guy, you've had multiple partners because you watch corn videos, which is releasing your spiritual energy back to the then. So the less body count you have, the more physical and emotional bonds you can make with people, your partner mainly. And if you renounce spirit ties, you're just naturally, it takes a lot of healing, but God will help you, and you just have to take time to heal. Okay, don't just jump into a relationship if you just ended one. Like, take, you know, a few years. It's subjective. Again, like I said, it's the individual person, but take time, heal, you know, make sure you're in a good place mentally, emotionally, psychologically, that you can handle a relationship. Because if you don't, you could end up just wrecking somebody else. And we don't want that. So, this has been we were a little bit all over in the video, but still, this has been a Voice in the Wilderness. Soldier, bondservant of Christ, signing off. Whenever you see this, have a blessed day or night. Stay safe in these dark and crazy times. And I will see you in the next one.